Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's great to be with you. A lot of my patients, especially those in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, tell me about something that happens all too often. You're sleeping soundly right in the middle of the night, and suddenly, bam, a sharp, intense cramp seizes your calf. It jolts you right awake. Now, what's the first thought for so many people? Oh, I must be low on calcium. I'll grab some calcium pills tomorrow. If that's what you're thinking, I'm really glad you're here today because that assumption can actually be pretty dangerous. Here's the reality. Sleep is like a nightly health report card, a lot of serious conditions. The kind that can really threaten your health. They hide perfectly during the day. They don't show any signs. But at night, when your body is at rest, they start to reveal themselves. That frequent midnight leg cramp. It's often not just a simple calcium deficiency or because your foot got cold. It can actually be an early warning signal, like an air raid siren for narrowed blood vessels, nerve damage, or even a kidney issue starting to surface. So today, I'm going to walk you through 5 nighttime health signals, signs that appear when you lie down and if ignored can truly impact your long-term health. I'm going to explain not only what these signs are, but also give you practical steps on what to do if you notice them. This information is important because catching these signs early can truly save a life. So please, for yourself and for the people you care about, stick with me through this video. Let's start with the most common one. Nighttime leg cramps. A lot of folks have this idea stuck in their heads. Leg cramp equals calcium deficiency. Is that partially true? Yes, but it's only a small piece of the puzzle. Let's understand what a cramp actually is physiologically. In medical terms, it's a muscle spasm. Put simply, your muscle just freaks out. It stops listening to your brain and contracts super tightly on its own, getting hard and knotted up. You try to stretch it, but it feels like it's stuck. Your muscles need excitement to contract and move. Calcium ions act like a moderator, like a teacher, keeping that excitement in check. If calcium levels in your blood dip too low, it's like having a classroom full of kids with no teacher. The slightest thing sets them off, and the muscles start contracting uncontrollably. That's your cramp. So yes, if you have a poor diet or if you have certain conditions like kidney or liver issues or even high blood pressure, you can be prone to calcium loss and that can cause cramps. But here are two other major players that often get completely overlooked. Number one, your sleeping position could be the culprit. Many people, especially as we get older, stay in one position all night. Let's say you sleep on your back with a heavy comforter, that blanket can push down on your feet for hours. Forcing your toes downward, this keeps your calf muscles in a shortened, contracted state all night long. It's like holding a stretch, but the wrong way for 8 hours. An hour or two might be fine, but all night, eventually your muscle is going to protest. The same thing happens if you sleep on your stomach. Your feet are pointed down into the mattress all night. The calf muscles never get a chance to relax. Same principle, same problem. Number two, cold is a major trigger for muscles. You'll notice more cramps in the fall and winter or in summer when the AC is blasting. Why? Muscles have a natural reflex to generate heat. When they get cold, they start to shiver and contract. It's the same reason you shiver when you're cold. If your feet or calves are poking out from under the covers, or if a cold draft is hitting them directly, that shivering reflex can go into overdrive and turn into a full-blown cramp. So what do you do when that cramp hits at 2 a.m.? A lot of people just grit their teeth and bear it, or they wake up their partner and ask for a rub. But I've got a trick that works even better: reverse stretching. Here's what you do. If it's your calf muscle cramping, which is the most common, flex your foot upward toward your shin. If you're on your own, sit up, grab your foot or toes with your hands and pull them towards you while you try to straighten your knee. It might sting for a second, but you're stretching the muscle with its grain, and it often stops the cramp instantly. Once it releases, don't just flop back down. Apply a warm towel or do some gentle massage to help the muscle fully relax so it doesn't seize up again a few minutes later. Now, an occasional cramp, maybe once a month, is usually nothing to worry about, but here's where I need you to pay close attention. If you're having cramps frequently, not once a month, but every other night or even multiple times a night, and taking calcium isn't helping, this is not a small thing. This could be a sign of a deeper issue. Let's look at 4 possible conditions these frequent cramps might be pointing to. Number 1, peripheral artery disease or PAD, clogged arteries in your legs. This is one of the most common and most serious causes. Think of your arteries like the plumbing in your house over time. They can get rusty and develop plaque. When that happens in your legs, blood flow isn't as smooth. Your muscles need oxygen-rich blood to function. At night, when you're lying flat, your heart rate slows, blood flow naturally decreases, and if your arteries are already narrowed, your leg muscles become starved for oxygen. They cramp up because they're hungry for blood. If you notice your legs are often cold, feel numb, or ache after walking a short distance, maybe you walk a block and your leg starts hurting, then you rest and it feels better. We call that intermittent claudication. That's a classic sign. If that sounds like you, there's a good chance your blood vessels are the issue. Getting a simple leg vascular ultrasound is a great first step. Number 2, diabetes, high blood sugar over time is like soaking your nerves and blood vessels in a sugary marinade. It damages them over time. This can scramble the nerve signals, causing muscles to contract when they shouldn't. If you're having frequent cramps and also have very dry, itchy skin on your legs or a small cut that just won't heal, don't hesitate, get your blood sugar checked. Number 3, a pinched nerve in your lower back, like from a herniated disc. You might think, what does my back have to do with my calf? The answer is everything. The nerves that control your legs run right through your lower spine. If a disc is bulging, it can pinch a nerve root. That irritation can send pain or weird sensation, including cramping all the way down to your leg and foot. And here's the tricky part. Sometimes when you lie flat at night, the pressure distribution in your spine changes, and that can actually make this kind of nerve-related cramping worse. Number 4, kidney issues. Your kidneys are your body's master filter. They keep a perfect balance of minerals like potassium, sodium, and calcium. If your kidneys aren't working as well as they should, that balance can get thrown off. If they're not filtering properly, or if they're losing things they should be holding on to, your electrolytes get out of whack. When your electrolytes are out of balance, your muscles can't function properly, and cramps are often the first sign. So here's my special reminder. If cramping has become a frequent guest in your sleep, and it's accompanied by cold or numb legs, pain when walking, or skin changes, don't just keep taking calcium. Go to your doctor and get a thorough evaluation. Now, let's move beyond leg cramps because there are 5 other nighttime signs that are even more critical. If you notice any of these, your body is sending a very loud, very clear distress signal. Every single one of these could point to a potentially life-threatening issue. The first dangerous sign, chest tightness or heart palpitations at night. This is one of the most serious. You're busy all day running around and you feel fine. But the moment you lie down at night or in the middle of the night, you feel like an elephant is sitting on your chest, or your heart starts racing or skipping beats. This can be a major red flag for coronary artery disease, angina, or even a warning sign of a heart attack. Why does this happen? When you lie flat, more blood returns to your heart, increasing its workload. Also, the vagus nerve, which helps control your heart rate, can become overactive at night. That can sometimes trigger spasms in the coronary arteries. If you're waking up with chest pressure, feeling like you can't breathe, or if you have pain that spreads to your left shoulder or back, this is a sign your heart is under severe stress. This is a high-risk sign for sudden cardiac events. Do not wait on this. The second dangerous sign, leg pain or numbness, that's not a cramp. I'm talking about a deep aching pain, a feeling of heaviness, or a pins and needles sensation. This can point to a serious blood clot or severe narrowing of the arteries like deep vein thrombosis or DVT. If you notice one leg is swollen red or feels warm to the touch compared to the other, and it's keeping you awake or causing significant discomfort, you need to be evaluated for a blood clot. A clot that breaks loose and travels to the lungs is a life-threatening emergency. That's a pulmonary embolism, and it can happen fast. The third dangerous sign, frequent abdominal pain or bloating at night. If you're waking up with a dull ache or bloating in your belly, it could be a sign of a peptic ulcer, like a gastric or duodenal ulcer. Duodenal ulcers in particular are famous for causing pain when the stomach is empty, which is exactly the case in the middle of the night. You're asleep, your stomach is empty, and stomach acid directly irritates the ulcer, causing significant pain that wakes you up. The fourth dangerous sign, Acid reflux or heartburn at night. This one is so disruptive. You're sleeping and suddenly you feel a burning sensation rising up from your stomach into your throat. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, and it's a classic sign of GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Why is it worse at night? Because gravity works in our favor when we're upright or sitting, but when we lie down, the stomach and esophagus are on the same level. If the valve at the top of your stomach, the lower esophageal sphincter, doesn't close tightly, acid can wash back up. This doesn't just ruin your sleep. Over time, repeated acid reflux can damage your esophagus and even lead to aspiration pneumonia if the acid gets into your lungs while you're sleeping. The fifth dangerous sign, waking up gasping for air. This is often called sleep apnea, but it's more than just snoring. You're asleep and suddenly you feel like you're being choked or can't catch your breath. You have to bolt upright to get air. Some people call this old hag syndrome or feel like something is pressing on their chest, but in reality, this is a medical issue. This can be a sign of severe sleep apnea, where your airway collapses, but it can also be a sign of heart failure or even a growth in the chest, like a mediastinal tumor pressing on your windpipe. The change in position when you lie down can make the compression worse, reducing the amount of air you can take in. The long-term oxygen deprivation from this is incredibly hard on your brain and your heart. This is not something to ignore. Okay, I know this can feel like a lot. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, I've got a couple of these. What do I do? First, take a breath. The good news is that by knowing these signs, you have the power to get ahead of any potential problem. Finding out early is a good thing. It means you can act before things get worse. If you're experiencing any of these nighttime issues, please don't guess. Don't rely on internet forums. And please don't listen to unverified home remedies or take random pills someone recommends. When you go to your doctor, here's what they'll likely suggest based on your symptoms so you know what to expect. For chest tightness or palpitations, they'll probably want to do an EKG, but a standard EKG in the office might miss what happens at night. So they may give you a 24-hour Holter monitor, a little box you wear home, like a portable music player to record your heart's activity while you sleep and go about your day. A heart ultrasound or echocardiogram can also check the structure of your heart and how it's pumping for leg pain, cramps, or numbness. In addition to checking your mineral levels to see if you're low on calcium or magnesium, a leg vascular ultrasound is key. It looks for blockages or clots in the arteries and veins. They'll also want to check your blood sugar to rule out diabetes-related nerve damage. For breathing trouble or waking up gasping, you may need pulmonary function tests to see how your lungs are working, or even an imaging study like a CT scan or MRI to look at your lungs, your airway, and the structures in your chest for reflux or stomach pain. A referral to a gastroenterologist for an endoscopy where they use a small camera to look inside your esophagus and stomach is often the best way to see exactly what's going on. The goal is to find the root cause and address it early before it becomes a bigger problem. Only through these kinds of tests can you get to the bottom of what's happening. Let's recap everything so you can remember the key points. Save this video, bookmark it, or share it with someone you care about. Here's what we covered. 1. Nighttime leg cramps. Don't just assume it's calcium. Occasional cramps are often from sleeping position or cold exposure, but if you're having frequent cramps and calcium isn't helping, it could point to clogged arteries in the legs, diabetes with nerve damage, a pinched nerve in your lower back, or kidney issues throwing off your electrolytes. 2. The 5 critical signs to watch for at night: chest tightness or palpitations, a heart distress signal. Don't ignore this. Leg pain or numbness, that's not a cramp, could be a vascular blockage or a dangerous blood clot. Abdominal pain or bloating waking you up, possible peptic ulcer, acid reflux or heartburn at night. A classic sign of GERD, waking up gasping for air, can be sleep apnea, heart failure, or a growth pressing on your airway. 3. What to do: see your doctor for heart symptoms. Think Holter monitor and echocardiogram for legs. A vascular ultrasound and blood sugar test. For breathing trouble, lung function tests, or imaging. For stomach issues, an endoscopy is often the best route. 4. A final word of caution. If you notice these alarm signs during sleep, do not self-diagnose. Do not listen to unverified remedies or take random medications without knowing the cause. Go to a proper medical facility and get checked out. Even if everything turns out to be fine, at least you'll have peace of mind. Don't let a small problem become a major one by waiting too long. Friends, we spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping. It's not just rest. It's a time when your body is communicating with you. If you learn to read your body's signals during sleep, you gain a real advantage in managing your long-term health. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend or family member you care about. The more people who understand these signs, the better. Wishing you all a restful, healthy night's sleep. I'll see you in the next video. This is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes. If you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. This version is a complete line-by-line adaptation of your original text with no content removed, no sections summarized, and no shortcuts taken. Please let me know if you do like any further adjustments.